Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, members of the committee. Very much appreciate the opportunity, like my colleagues to my left, to be here with you today. My name is Ken Lancastle. I am the Chief Operating Officer of the Mechanical Contractors Association of Canada, or as we will commonly refer to it, MCA Canada. Our association represents mechanical, electrical, and plumbing contractors across the country working in the industrial, commercial, institutional, residential, and service repair and maintenance sectors of Canada's construction industry. This also includes industrial process contractors who are critical to turnaround and shutdown activities for Canada's industrial capacity. Simply put, our members build and maintain the systems that Canadians rely on every single day and the systems that power our economy. So just to put some of that into perspective, our sector accounts for roughly 40% of all construction activity across the country. We support more than 440,000 direct jobs, and the sector contributes more than $63 billion annually to the Canadian economy. It's an economic workhorse, and it's foundational to Canada's economic strength and our future growth. Today, as the country faces increases in demand for housing and infrastructure, as well as industrial development, our sector is going to play a critical role in delivering on that capacity. But we face persistent challenges, particularly with respect to labor availability and productivity challenges. Governments at all levels have taken important steps to address labor shortages. These programs are incredibly welcomed by our sector, but their full impact will take time, while demand for construction is expected to rise in the near term. As well, construction productivity continues to lag compared to other sectors of the economy. Recent studies from Statistics Canada have demonstrated a national productivity slowdown in the Canadian construction industry, despite the amount of work required in the years ahead. The next federal budget provides an opportunity to take targeted action now, action that can remove impediments to business so that our sector, which is so critical to infrastructure and housing development, can continue to build. MCA Canada has put forward 4 practical recommendations. First, tax relief on overtime earning for skilled tradespeople. Construction workers regularly put in additional hours to meet project deadlines. However, those additional earnings are taxed at the same marginal tax rate as regular income, ultimately reducing the incentive to take on extra work. A targeted tax credit would provide meaningful incentive for certified tradespeople to work additional hours, helping to address short-term labor pressures. Second, expand the productivity super deduction to explicitly include construction. Construction is highly capital intensive. It requires significant upfront investment in tools, equipment, and technology, yet tax recovery timelines limit the ability of firms to reinvest. When Budget 2025 introduced the productivity super deduction, construction was not clearly defined or included. By including construction equipment and technology, this would allow firms to invest in more efficient tools, technologies, and processes, while allowing firms to find economies of scale to meet the demand. Third, enhance support for tools and personal protective equipment. Upfront costs remain a barrier to entering the skilled trades, particularly for underrepresented groups. Increasing the tradesperson tool deduction to $3,000, indexing it to inflation, and expanding eligibility to include personal protective equipment would reduce some of those financial barriers, support increased recruitment, while making work sites safer and more inclusive. And then finally, strengthen federal prompt payment legislation. We recommend amending the Federal Prompt Payment for Construction Work Act to require the mandatory annual release of holdback on multi-year projects. This holdback is often held until the substantial completion of a project, but it can also mean that millions of dollars are being kept from a project payment supply chain. Some provinces, such as Ontario, have already adopted this approach, but the federal framework has not yet addressed it. This change, again, would help to unlock some of that cash flow in the supply chain and support the timely delivery of federal infrastructure projects. In closing, Canada's mechanical, electrical, and plumbing contractors are ready to meet the moment. At the end of the day, if we want to build more housing and infrastructure, we need to unlock the capacity that already exists in the system, and that's what these measures are designed to do. With that being said, I want to thank the committee again for the invitation to speak here today, and I look forward to any questions there may be.
Great, thank you very much.